In this video, we're going to look at using an Excel workbook as a portal to access all of the basic electronic resources and information we might need in a day-to-day administration role. We're going to look at a couple of examples. One simpler example built around a contract administration role, and a slightly more complex example built around a customer service role assisting students. And finally, a brief tutorial in setting up one of these Excel workbook administration portals. Here's a first example. It's a hypothetical example around a contract management administration job or role, and it's all broken into different tasks or aspects of the role. Here's the main area here under contract management. So we've got a basic to-do list, link to the contract management database, related files, templates you might need, basic resources to do looking up company registration numbers, financial delegations, and each of these is a hyperlink which will link either to a resource or document on a drive. It could be local, it could be a network drive, or to the intranet or the World Wide Web. So here I've got some examples here that I've set up. Here's a Excel workbook to-do list. If I click on that, up comes my to-do list. So I can put something in there, close it again. Say for example, I'm just working on a contract and I want to fill out a contract request cover sheet. Click on here, this is linked to a Word template, and up comes that template immediately, and I can save that and enter the data. Other resources we've got mapped out here. This is, say for example, a special project area, organized all the different links together, the checklists for these things. Finance and database, so some calculators, lists of funding sources, team folders we might have, for example, kitchen roster. Down here, some general outside web links, for example, a calendar. If I click on that, up comes a calendar, like so. And over here, organized all of the contact information. So for example, a general intranet link to a staff database, some specific contact lists I might have set up as PDF files, extensions. For example, this is a big organization, might have a lot of internal telephone numbers, so the most frequent ones you're using might put in here. And down here, mailroom, so other related resources to look up postcodes, request a courier. So the entire portal is organized to make all the different aspects of the role easy to find. All the resources within that particular aspect of the role are grouped together in a systematic way. So this can have a massive effect on your productivity in your day-to-day work in this type of administration role, because you can immediately go to one resource, find everything you need for different things that you might be doing throughout the day, organized in a systematic way. Now, different types of activities, different roles might have different logical layouts, and also you might have personal preferences of organizing things the way that your particular mental processes work. Let's look at another example. This second example here is orientated around a customer service role. So in this imagined role, this is a student advisory role, giving information, helping students with enrollments in courses and other aspects of their day-to-day needs. This is, because it's customer service orientated, it's all about being able to find the information that you need as quickly as possible to help a student. So this is more organized around contacts. And you'll see here we've organized around, for example, enrollments. So they're all different enrollment contacts that might need to check up on the progress of an enrollment, looking at technical issues. Maybe there's something specialized to do with international enrollments. Here are the people that you need to contact to get help with those things, their extension number, maybe some resources relating to that. So some general information for students. So in this particular case, a drive resource, Up here, a manual that relates to that area, and up here, more orientated towards the last example. These are actual resources, so these might be forms that we might need to access within this role. Here's an example I've done. I haven't got a student actual student form to click to, so I've just linked to a government form. But if I just click on this, up comes a form. I could download that, print it out, and complete it. And over here, maps, course guides, an IT request area. So again, it's organized in a logical fashion around the activities in the role to make the resources you need, the documents, the contact information, organized in a systematic way so that you can quickly find whatever you need to get to your day-to-day work as quickly as possible, as efficiently as possible. Now, another thing to look at here is that there's a lot of information on here, probably too much actually in this particular example, but we don't have, of course, have to, because we can have multiple worksheets in a Excel workbook, so we can break up our information into different areas. Here, for example, I've got specific contacts to do with a course. Here we have student grades, so you could look up student grades on there, and you could have as many different tabs as you need to get all the different specific types of information. Now, of course, you wouldn't necessarily create something like this from scratch completely in one sitting. You might build this up over time, expand it as you find you need new contacts to do your day-to-day work, add areas for new projects, for example, new tabs that might relate to a particular project. Build it up over time, a little bit each day with something like this, over a period of weeks, and you've built up a really, really useful resource to really put a lot of momentum into your efficiency in your role and your productivity. Putting together a basic example of one of these work portals is very, very straightforward. I'll do an example here. So we might grab the first two columns here, pull those out, so we've got some space here for a hyperlink and some sort of note relating to the hyperlink. Now, in most Microsoft Office products, if you use the F4 key, you could repeat the last action. So I'm just going to select. Now I'm going to leave a gap here for a bit of visual space to break things up, make them easier to take in as you're looking at it. So leave the gap, take the second two columns, press F4. So I'll get two more, another space for more links and some notes. Another gap. Grab here, press F4. And my primary work area I might put up here. Let's grab a bunch of cells like so, and put a border around it, and a bit of shading. Take the next segment here. Again, border around it, and a different shade, and so on. And you can break things up into smaller segments if you need to. For example, we might have a small segment there, and that might be our frequent contacts. And we could have, as we did in the first example, post-related things here. Work area, and just break the portal up into whatever areas suit the way that you think about your day-to-day work and your related activities, so you can find them systematically and quickly. So just to look at adding links, pretty straightforward. If you want to add a hyperlink to a resource or a document that's on a drive, a network drive, or your desktop, or local drive, simply insert link, and we can navigate here as necessary. Here, for example, I've already got it on the desktop, so I'm just going to grab to-do list, so click on that, say OK, and I might just put I find it helpful to know what sort of resource I'm opening, but you could put other notes there or a reminder or something like that. If I want to change that link, I can just right click on it, edit hyperlink, and I might change this to activities list instead. Maybe that suits me. Now these can all, because they're just cells in the workbook, and we can change the font if we want to. So I might make this a little bit bigger, make it a bit more bit bold. Might make this bigger here to catch the eye. Add a little bit of space, like so. Format that cell, make the alignment top, like so. And if we want to add a web resource, that's also straightforward. Easiest way to do that is simply to go to a web page. For example, I've got the world clock here. Copy that link, go back to Excel, paste it in the bar up here, just press enter, and that'll automatically put the turn it into a hyperlink. And again, we can just put a web link here, for example. And I can adjust this here, for example. I don't really want that long example there, so edit hyperlink and just say world time, like so. Maybe make that bold. And it's as straightforward as that to set up a basic work portal. Obviously, add more links and more resources, more information over time, or you could plan it out initially, I guess, and adjust it as needed, and build it up until you've got a fully functioning portal that supports your activities in your day-to-day role. One last thing to look at before we finish is that when you use hyperlinks, depending on how your trust center is set up in Microsoft Office, you may get a warning message saying that hyperlinks can be potentially an issue. You can disable that message through the trust center settings, message bar here, say never show information about blocked content. You can still use those hyperlinks, it's a little bit annoying, you have to click twice to get through. You can also go to trusted locations. I won't go into there because it shows the directory of my machine, but and specify which areas, say for example net drive, are trusted, and you shouldn't get those issues. There are some instances where, despite there's a bit of what appears to be a bug, where despite setting these measures up, you still get issues. I won't go into how to sort those out because that involves editing the registry of the machine, and that's a bit beyond the scope of this video. But if you're working in an organization, you get that issue, it's something you should chat to your ITS services, and they should be able to help you with that.